Yep.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to Digital Production. Welcome to the Spring 2018 semester. Professor Christopher Campbell, how are you today, sir?
Okay.
Doing well?
Yes, there's going to be the art show at 4 o'clock. So,
4 o'clock at the Grind?
Yes, yes.
Now, when our students hear this, it will have come and gone, this art show, so it's not something that we can quite promote, but will there be any artifacts from the show that will remain?
Well, I think, the photos, the photos will be, the pieces will be up on the wall, and I think the crow's nest will be writing a story.
All right.
And so hopefully a lot of people will show up.
I understand you yourself will have a photo.
Yes, I have one. Actually, Edgardo, could you grab the piece?
We may actually be able to.
No, we're not going to see it. I doubt that he'll. Right over behind the jacket. Yeah.
Stand by. We are.
Is it we don't hide this one.
On the cusp of. Oh my.
So could you bring it over?
Well.
And take it,
That's,
oh my God, we may actually
well,
no, it's okay.
Oh no, okay. Thanks very much, sir.
So, what are your thoughts about this?
Now, before I show it, I just want to say I think this is a fabulous photograph. I like the color,
very
the simplicity.
Kind, sir.
Let's go ahead and do a reveal here, though.
Okay.
Now, this was taken in St. Pete.
This was taken actually 5 years ago.
5 years ago by the Vinoy?
Yes, yes.
It's a very St. Pete photo. Let's take a look here. Ooh.
Okay, yeah.
Very nice. Now, it's a little artistic. Perhaps we wouldn't call it journalistic because you have done a bit of post-production.
Yes, I increased the saturation of the reds and the blues. And messed around with the background a little bit.
Yep. So we've got a pure white background.
Fine. That's what you can do with, quote, art.
And if I'm not mistaken, this is among your favorite type of photography to shoot, wildlife.
Yes.
Birds.
Yes.
This is a what now?
An ibis.
An ibis.
Ibis.
An ibis. There you go.
So it's not perfect, but I'm never truly happy with anything that I ever do.
What are the odds that this photo will be hanging at the Grind next week?
Very high.
Very high. All right. So
unless someone buys it, because I will be selling it.
So it will be for sale.
But if someone would like prints, I can print out and I can do a custom prints. That's the joy of digital. You just make prints.
So if you like it, we can get you a copy.
Yes.
And we have students that will be presenting as well at the art show.
Yes, and some of their work is actually, all of it is going to be very, very
perhaps. Now, I don't want to speak out of school. Or
out of school?
Out of school, yes.
What's out of school?
Well, the thing is, maybe, just maybe, this could become a kind of annual...
Well, Gina, the manager of the Grind, would like to make it a monthly thing.
A monthly thing? That would be even more spectacular.
For people that have, if someone would like to do it, then they can do it.
All right. So stay tuned because there may be information about an upcoming art show at the Grind, directly adjacent to the USFSP campus here in downtown St. Pete.
Yes. So
now, we have been talking about photography, but this week, once again, we take a dramatic turn into uncharted territory. We're going to talk about video, and we're going to do this for nearly the remainder of the semester because video is drawing on what we've already learned in audio, in photography, and then adding some important additional considerations. And you know what we're talking about this week, all week long?
Shots.
You are correct.
Shots.
I think of the shot as the building block, the molecular element that makes up our video productions, regardless of their length and their style and their purpose. Every video is ultimately made up of one or more shots.
That'd be the element, the simplest element possibly, or one of the simplest elements.
So what we want to do this week is really reflect on, well, what exactly is a shot? What goes into a shot? And there are a couple of different properties that are very common when we're describing.
One thing that's kind of
what a
bugging me
shot
though,
is.
the photo, it's
Yeah.
upsetting the symmetry of the shot.
Of this shot. You know
yes.
what? You're right. I almost feel like the whole table is about
Yes.
to. Now, I don't know how fixable this is. Now, if we were to, perhaps, if we did that,
Okay.
something like that.
Well, now, but the clapper has to go all the way to the very edge of the frame.
This way.
Yeah.
Yes, because, okay, there we go.
Okay, that's a little better.
Now
Yeah.
we have achieved
balance.
something,
Symmetry.
some semblance of symmetry.
Now it's looking like a Wes Anderson shot.
Yes, very, very good. But we were talking about Wes
Yes, we were
Anderson
speaking about Wes Anderson last night.
We were looking at the Grand Budapest.
Yes, we had a very lively discussion about shots.
And you were introducing the class to a really cool website.
Yes.
Tell us about the site, if you would. And because I want everybody in this class to also know about it, go to it, and use it as a resource, particularly this week as we get acclimated to what shots are all about.
Yes, it's evanrichards.com. It's all one word. Evan Richards is a filmmaker who writes a blog, has a website. And what evanrichards.com, or if you just do a search. But what's interesting is he's created a database of all these movies, Hollywood movies, mostly. Well, basically
Dozens and
all.
dozens of them.
Dozens and actually hundreds, not hundreds, well, maybe 100 or so.
At least 100,
Yeah.
I would say, yeah.
And took the first frame of every shot and basically did a screen grab. So you have a JPEG of the first shot of every frame in order.
From the very beginning to the
To the
very
very
end.
beginning to the very end. So it's essentially like a storyboard of the whole movie. And it allows you to see how shots are composed and everything else about shots. Not movement, of course.
Which we will talk about this week as well, but everything short of movement
Yes.
can be understood through these still frames.
So if one was curious about how much headroom should you have, then you can look at an example of a close-up or medium shot. If you want to know what a medium shot is, you can look at that. If you want to know what an over-the-shoulder shot is, if you want to know all these other things.
And also, this is a great tool to understand a topic we'll get into next week, which is beyond the individual shot. How do you assemble shots into a logical, meanful sequence?
And you can see how, like, when the line is crossed, if it's crossed, perspective,
Line of action.
Perspective, point of views, point of view shots, perspective from each point of view. And what's interesting is that last night during class, I was actually expecting just to show it and talk a little about it. But then people really got actively involved in trying to figure out what's the next shot. And so it was interesting.
Well, it's an interesting way to go from a passive consumer of media to an active analyst and critiquer of media. Because when you're playing them back frame by frame, you really start to think about the purpose and the intention behind each one of those shots and what the director and cinematographer and light designer and everybody are doing to create a certain feeling and a certain idea as the film progresses.
Yes. And I think that one interesting takeaway from last night is that, like, people were guessing what the next shot would be. Would it be a wide shot? Would it be a close-up? Would it be a point of view shot? And everyone had slightly different opinions.
All reasonable.
All reasonable and all completely valid. And what was interesting is that everyone looks at creating a sequence of shots in a different way. And they're all equally valid. I guess to a certain point, within certain guidelines. Yeah.
Yeah, what makes this whole endeavor both fascinating and maddening at times is there isn't a single correct answer to how to do this.
Right.
There are many ways, some better than others, but there's also a lot of subjectivity that comes into play. in terms of what makes a great film. Most would consider Wes Anderson a great director.
Well, he's very popular now, yes, and I would agree that I think he's from a compositional point of view, and he just, he does. What I like about his style is that he's very precise.
Yep. Very intentional.
Very
in how
intentional,
he
very precise.
crafts his shots.
Camera movements are extremely precise and detailed, and there's no wasted movement whatsoever. There's no movement unless it's completely motivated.
And other great directors have very different styles they employ.
Yeah.
So take a look at evanrichards.com. Take a look at our sequence of lessons that we've queued up for this week. We're going to take a quick step back in time. I had a very, very unfortunate hairstyle. I don't know what I was thinking, so apologies for that in advance. But otherwise, the content's pretty good. And the week after, this coming week, we're going to talk about shot sequences, and then we're going to get into Premiere and do all kinds of exciting things in post-production.
So maybe we could look at some examples of shot sequences.
We can certainly do that.
Maybe from some famous shows, some of the more shows that everybody is probably sick of hearing about.
Some contemporary classics.
Contemporary classics.
Yes. All right, good luck with the work this week in the class. We'll see you in the discussion forum and the assignments and elsewhere.
And also to be sure to check out The Grind, not today.
Not today, but perhaps today, if you're watching this on, say, a Tuesday.
And see
or
the
Wednesday.
exceptional work of our journalism students who are producing some quite exceptional work, I have to admit.
All right, have a great week, everyone.